Aloha and shalom. I'm super excited about this new moon activation because it looks like we're gonna have some new peeps in the portal. Yeah, I call this weekly space the activation portal if you guys are new, so welcome. And I met a lot of amazing people today at Chocolate Tree in Sedona, and I'm hoping that they'll join us in our activation portal tonight. So I'm just getting set up here, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do the activation tonight or tomorrow because the new moon is tomorrow morning. And as you know, we start feeling the energy a couple days before and we feel it a couple days after because time is not truly linear. And so I get home from Chocolate Tree and immediately I just feel this energy pushing me to do it. So I'm going to do it with your help. Together, we're going to do it. Not just us, but the archetypes, the energies, those beings that are behind everything you see going on in this material world. We are going to do it together. So for those of you who are new, these activations don't actually have anything to do with the moon other than the fact that we use it as a measurement of time. So what the moon is reflecting to us in such a simple way is what's going on inside of us. It's reflecting that process that's happening within all things. So the new moon is all about a new beginning, stepping into a new lesson, a new cycle. And if you know a little bit about Kabbalah and the four worlds of creation, then you know that all numbers are sacred, but you know the sacred qualities of the number 4. 4 provides the form or structure for spirit to enter and do its thing. So the moon, being a 4-week cycle, is a perfect way for us to unite and do this work. Where's my water? So new moon, new beginning. I hope you're all feeling it. And as usual, I'm tuning in from the amazing Sedona, Arizona. Where in the world are you? Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. It's my favorite part about our activation, seeing all the beings lighting up the grid. The world grid, the global grid. And as I'm shuffling, what you can do is, as you watch that I'm shuffling, you could feel as though we're shuffling up the different aspects of self. We're shuffling up the different angles of the mind. And as we're touching them, right, because you're me, I'm you, so you can see it as though you are shuffling these cards yourself right now. So as we do that, we're touching on the different aspects of self. We are connecting to, tuning into those different angles of the one universal mind. These characters represent energies that exist within all things. They represent angles of your own mind. So where in the world are you? Let's see. AZ, Jersey, another AZ, North Carolina, BC, Canada. Awesome. Where in the world are you? Let us know in the comments. Texas. Now I'm just shuffling up the Hebrew deck. For those of you who've never seen these before, I made these myself. It's a deck of Hebrew cards that I hand drew. Asheville, awesome. Maine, Netherlands. Sweet. Another Illinois. So just for those of you who are new, this reading is for the collective consciousness. It's not for an individual, it's for all of us. And we're just pulling out the main theme of what's happening energetically in our shared world. And this can feel as though it's a personal reading for you because as it is with one, so it is with all. We're pulling out the common denominator energies and the common denominator message that we're all going through. So although we're all experiencing the same thing in different ways, it is the same thing. just with different details, with different names, with different faces, different places, but we're all going through the same thing. So this reading is for all of us. For those of you who are asking for a card pull, it's for all of us. Another BC, we have Louisiana in the house. What's up? And same thing with the Hebrew letters. They represent those same different angles of the mind. They represent archetypal wisdom that lives within. South Australia. All right. I'm going to grab my water. Got it. Because that's important. Now. And starting with the challenge for the week. As we step into this new cycle, new beginning, what is the focus as far as the challenge, which is also the gift? So for some of us, we'll experience this energy on more of the challenging end, and for some of us more on the blessing end. But we all have the potential to transform the challenge into the gift. That is the point of the game. So this card that represents the challenge and gift ultimately becomes the bridge to the future as well, because as we ace this challenge and it becomes the gift for us, it's the lesson that we learn that helps us to progress to the next stage of our experience. So, challenge of the week. Why are we doing it? That's the foundation card. And then using the Hebrew cards, I'm going to pull the ally of the week, the energy that is most helpful to carry us through this particular challenge. Okay. The challenge of the week is 5 of Swords. Check out the art. Okay, so the 5 of Swords is all about disappointment, feeling incomplete. Swords is the suit of challenges. So for those of you who don't know this, in modern tarot, the swords is associated with the mind and the element of air. However, this is a manipulation. In the original tarot, which means royal path, by the way, the suit of swords is actually associated with the earth. And I'll tell you why, and I go into depth with this in my book. So if you're interested in hearing more, just reach out to me after this activation. Swords is actually associated first with earth, the earth element. Why? Because challenges only exist on this plane. In a spiritual dimension, which is associated with air and the mind, the challenge exists just as much as the solution does. All realities exist. Okay, so when we look at the suit of swords as being correlated to the earth and the material element of life, right away we acknowledge the impermanence of the challenge. Because all things material and all things on this earth are impermanent. And so you can see how when we make earth the primary association as far as the elements go to the suit of swords, we immediately acknowledge that although this is a challenge, it's not forever. And approaching it from this angle of perspective right off the bat gives us that sense of detachment that we need to be fully receptive to finding the solution to make it through, so that we don't get so caught up in the material details of the situation, so that right off the bat we say, you know what? Yes, this is a challenge, but I right away acknowledge it's temporary, so it's going to be okay. Now let me get to the solution of it. Let me see why this is really happening, because there's something deeper behind this challenge that is trying to speak to me. And so the 5 of Swords, if you look at the art, it says it all. It's about picking the pieces back up. you may feel right now, especially if you're on the more challenging end of this theme right now, you may feel like, man, I feel defeated. Defeat is a keyword of this card. I feel defeated. I feel like maybe I got what I wanted, but I don't feel complete. Or I didn't get what I wanted at all. The bottom line is that we're feeling incomplete, not feeling satisfied, not feeling fulfilled. And it doesn't matter whether you put in a little effort or a lot. The point is where you are at in this present moment is, I don't feel complete. I don't feel like a winner. I don't feel fulfilled. I feel like I still got more work to do. And if you're on the more blessed side of this challenge right now, you're going, okay, well, because it's all about a positive state of mind. That's what keeps you in a state of blessing. When you're in a state of gratitude, you're in a state of blessing. You understand? So for those of you who are in more of the blessing side of this, it's because you're keeping a positive attitude. And what I mean by that is, right now, you may also feel unfulfilled, but your positive attitude is telling you, and yeah, we're not fulfilled, but that's okay. We're not meant to be yet, and there's more, and so I'm excited about it, and so I'm picking the pieces back up so that I can keep going. You see how the difference between being more on this end of the spectrum or that end of the spectrum is all a state of mind? That's all it ever is. First principle of Hermetics is the principle of mentality. Everything is mind. So that's the only difference. So it's how you're looking at your situation that makes all the difference. Point is, we still have more work to do, whoever you are, wherever you're watching in the world right now. Right now is a time where we still have more work to do. We got to put the pieces back together, pick the pieces up, restructure the plan, and keep going. And so that could feel like a very heavy process. It could feel like a crappy process. Well, it's as crappy as you make it. If you have a negative mindset, you're going to be more in the victim consciousness, and you're going to say, geez, it's really hard to pick all these pieces back up. Gosh, I really have a lot of work to do still. Or if you're in a positive mindset, you're going, okay, this is just what I have to do right now. I'm going to gracefully and with gratitude pick the pieces up and put them back together in a way that I know is going to be better than it would have been if I didn't go through this. I see the blessing in the lesson. Although I feel defeated, I'm going to use that feeling of defeat as fuel to keep going. Because just as quick as I am to feel the defeat, I'm going to be quick to observe that, because I'm maintaining that observer mindset. I'm going to quickly observe, I see that I'm feeling defeated right now. How can I turn that around? How can I perform alchemy to make that feeling work for me? And the only way that it can work for you is if you transmute the feeling into its opposite force. So the feeling and frequency of defeat itself cannot work for you. The only way it can is when you use that feeling of defeat, that feeling of being defeated, to trigger your awareness back into the present moment, to then create the opposite of defeat, which is hope. Okay, so it's like on the one end, I'm feeling really defeated. Then the observer perspective comes in and goes, why is that? And what can we do to get to a space of hopefulness? And really it's simple, okay? Because it's looking at it like this. I could stay in the feeling of defeat and I could keep looking at all that I lost. Or I can see how the feeling of defeat is showing me what I do want that I don't yet have that I can now focus on. And a great perspective to have is to look at that feeling of defeat that you're feeling and say, okay, I must remember that all things are in divine order. And when I remember that, I must accept that whatever happened to bring me to this moment of defeat is perfect. And the opportunities that lie ahead are going to bring me something better than what I thought was going to bring me the fulfillment. Because if I thought something was going to bring me that fulfillment and I don't have it, it wasn't meant to be. And you know who helps you get back into that understanding, back into that state of awareness, is the Fool. And in the Royal Path 1, my first book, I talk about this. The Fool is the lens that you need to look at all the other perspectives through. Because if you don't have that lens of the Fool locked in, you don't remember that everything happens for a reason. You don't remember that you are connected to an infinite source of power and potential. But when you have that understanding and awareness as a foundation, then you can unlock the deeper initiations and the deeper wisdom that lies within all of the other cards. So for example, if you don't have that fool's perspective as you're examining this archetypal theme here, you're going to be stuck in that victim consciousness. Oh, I feel defeated. Oh God, like I didn't get what I wanted. But if you remember from the fool's perspective, you go, oh, well then it must have not be meant to be. And I'm grateful that I didn't get it, because now I have the space to get the thing that really is for me according to divine plan, according to divine order. Okay, so this is the challenge this week, saying, where have my efforts proven to be futile? Today, as I examine all the efforts I put in this past cycle, maybe the past few cycles, maybe this past year, I'm asking what efforts were futile? Really none of them, because in hindsight, our lessons are blessings. So you never do something for nothing. You know what I'm saying? But you can ask, what efforts do I need to shift away from? How can I redirect my energy to start manifesting what is actually for me? Okay? What goals have I been after that I now clearly see are not worthy of my pursuit? How can I see that those things I didn't receive are not meant for me? And you might say to yourself, so be careful, you might say to yourself, oh yeah, I didn't get that thing, so it's not meant for me. Let me just keep going. No, you gotta really know it. You have to really know it. You have to really know it. You have to really trust that what didn't come your way is not meant for you. Because if you harbor any subconscious resentment toward yourself or someone else or even God, the creator, for not bringing you that thing, that's going to you're going to leak energy. It's going to take up part of your awareness, however subconscious. And that part of your awareness is part of your power that you could instead be feeling toward what it is that is actually for you, what you really want. So you have to really understand. You have to really have compassion for your process. You have to really deeply accept and understand that what you didn't get is just not for you. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but personally I feel that one day I could be going, man, I really wanted that thing, you know, I really wanted this situation to unfold, and it's a bummer that it didn't, but I trust in divine order. And I'm like, yeah, I really do trust, but I'm still like, dang, that sucks, right? And then the next day I spot 1,000 reasons why it didn't come to me, why it wasn't meant to be. And that is the power of belief, and that is the power of faith, and that is the power of acceptance. When you really accept that, hey, you know what? I didn't get that thing that I wanted or I thought I wanted, and it must be because there's another plan for me. And when you have that faith, almost immediately, literally immediately, you start to identify all of the reasons why it absolutely wasn't for you. And you can move through it quicker. And then when you do, you create that space. You let go quicker, so you open up quicker to the new thing that's supposed to fill that space. See, the universe doesn't care about how long you take with your process. It's all energetic. It's all frequency and vibration. Okay? So the sooner you make that space for something else to come in, the sooner that thing comes in. It's just how it works. And it's all based in faith and belief, because everything is a mind. So the sooner you accept that that thing that didn't come is not for you, the sooner you'll welcome in the thing that is meant for you. And so this week, as you remember, 5 of Swords is the challenge. Make it your phone background. Google it. 5 of Swords. Put it on your altar. Put it under your pillow. Put it on your mirror. When you brush your teeth, you'll see it every morning. As you move through this week and you remember this challenge, ask yourself, okay, how can I... Him picking the swords back up is almost like you recollecting your thoughts, which is recollecting your energy and your power, okay? So we ask ourselves this week, how can I put the pieces back together, take my power back from all those people or places or situations that I was getting entangled in that were based on a vision of something I wanted to manifest that I now know I am no longer going to manifest, okay? So for example, if you were making deals with certain people or looking at certain properties that you wanted to buy, right, or whatever, and then that property, sold, and I'm not going to get it. Make sure you tie up loose ends with people. Like, if you were planning on buying that house with people and then the house sold, like have the talk with those people, close it up. Hey guys, that house is no more, so we got to move on to the next thing, okay? Or if you were talking to a real estate agent, but about the house, but now it sold and you were wanting some advice. Now that advice is futile, so you want to make sure you let that person know, I no longer need the advice. If you were seeking a relationship that is definitely not going to work out, like it became really clear that this is not going to work, close it up in as physical of a way as possible. If you're unable to communicate directly with a person, do a little ritual. Because really it's about your inner worlds, your own mind, your own heart, and really seeking that closure and clarity. And if you cannot do it directly in the material world, face to face with people or whatever, do a ritual to close it up, because it's time to make space for the new. This new moon is telling us, hey, you know what? You got to make the space. And new energy's here, but you got to put the pieces back together to create the space to welcome it in. So do whatever you have to do to close it up and take your power back, your energy back, your thoughts back, so that you are whole and full and ready to direct all of your power toward your new goal. And it's okay if you don't have a new goal yet. That doesn't mean you should still cling to the old, right? For example, just because you don't have a new goal yet, is it going to all of a sudden make some old goal possible when you know it's not? That doesn't make sense, okay? For example, you have a goal of buying a house and the house is bought and you don't have another house that you're interested in yet. Okay, but are you still going to hold on to that house that sold? No. You're going to let go. And you're going to do whatever you have to do to pull your energy back to center. All that energy, even just in your mind, your thoughts, your visions that you were leaking out toward the future potential of this house that is now gone. Done. You're not going to, just because you don't have a plan B, doesn't mean you're going to go back to plan A. That bridge has burned. So the best thing you could do, instead of being in despair that, oh, I don't have another house to buy, or I don't have a new situation lined up. Well, the best thing you can do then is direct your energy toward creating that fertile soil so that you can plant those seeds when they come. Right now is the time to prepare. Use our energy to untangle those roots that we've connected to in regard to a vision that's no longer going to happen. Take this time to pull your power back in. Rake your power back in. Build your power. Come to center. Because when the time comes, let's say that new house shows up in a few days, and you were sitting there going, oh man, I didn't get the house that I wanted, and you were sitting there sulking about it rather than empowering yourself and taking your energy back. Now you're not even prepared for that new house. Now you didn't even see the listing for your dream house because you were so busy crying and getting lost in a tub of ice cream that you didn't even see the opportunity come your way. You understand? If you are not in the frequency of gratitude and in that frequency of the vision that you're wanting to manifest, it will go right over your head. So we're putting the pieces back together, and that doesn't mean we're jumping from one plan to another. It just means that we're taking back our power from a plan that we now know is no longer going to happen. And it's amazing. You have to see. Not only do you not want to be upset about not getting it, you want to be thrilled. Oh, thank God I didn't get that thing that I thought I wanted, because I know that something better is coming. And the more deeply I know it, the more powerfully I'm going to manifest it. Okay, so that's enough about the challenge. Why are we doing this? 7 of Wands. Wands is the primary elemental association for wands is fire. Spirit. Okay? And this is all about staying with what we know is true. Despite all the opposition that we may be facing. In fact, we don't even know if that's opposition. That's the ambiguity of this card. It has a message. It's either we're being opposed here. There's either people, jabbing away at us with those wands, or it's people cheering us on. The point is, it doesn't matter. Famous quote by Albert Einstein: great minds will always receive violent opposition. True. Maybe. But who cares? I still got to do what I got to do anyway with this great mind. And great minds, and any mind, will always receive all kinds of responses because we're in a world of multiplicity where everybody's so different. And yeah, you may receive violent opposition, but you most likely will also receive support and blessings. And the point is, does it really matter what you're going to receive in reflection of what you know you have to give to the world? If you have a truth that you need to stick to, if you have something that you need to express that you know is for the highest good of the one, you can't busy yourself with worrying about what kind of response you're going to get from anyone. Because you know you have to do what you have to do, and that's it. And in fact, in that moment of deciding that you're going to do what you have to do, you simultaneously are accepting any response that's going to come your way. Violent opposition, not so violent opposition, support, whatever. It doesn't matter. You just accept that whatever is going to come in reflection of what it is you have to do, it's going to be divine, because nothing is outside of divine order. And so if this is the foundation card, and this is the challenge, what is it saying? Perhaps it's telling us that even though we might not have gotten what we wanted, we still have to stay open. We have to put the pieces back together and attract that thing that is for us. We have to keep going through this experience, through this earthly experience of putting our energy back together and attracting the next thing. What it's going to reflect back to us on a spiritual level, because we're talking about fire here, is it's going to reflect to us our determination of spirit and our willingness to stay open, stay trusting that what's meant for us will come. Okay, so we're going through this transformation of moving from defeat, feeling defeated, to feeling hopeful. And moving through this time, putting the pieces back together, putting ourselves back together, and manifesting the next stage of our experience. Why? All so that we can prove to ourselves that I'm not going to give up. That I have tremendous staying power, that I have tremendous strength of will and eternal opportunity to strengthen my will that is already so powerful, simply because it's one with the will of God and the Creator. So we're going through this experience of feeling defeated and challenged, and within that, the opportunity to transform that defeat into hope, into that powerful faith that's going to help us rise up into the next level of our beingness. We're going through this very earthly challenge this week, this earthly experience, so that we could just prove to ourselves that no matter what, we're not going to give up. And we're going to stick to our path. And the ally, as we move through this process this week, if you were here in the activation portal last week, it was also Shin. So it looks like Shin wants to stay with us. The frequency and the wisdom of Shin is still very present. And if you look at the letter, it's very revealing of its meaning. It actually looks like fire. And Shin is a letter that represents the element of fire, which is perfect because we did pull that fire card. And Shin is all about manifestation. It's actually connected to card 21 in the tarot, which is the world, aka the universe. Shin is the one that shows us that if we do what we need to do, we'll manifest what we want to manifest. that we have the power and potential to manifest anything, and that it comes from the fire of our spirit and that passion and inspiration that comes with the attunement to our spirit's calling. So this is the ally. As we move through this challenging time where we have to put ourselves back together and keep going, we want to remember the fire within. We want to keep that fire burning. This was the same ally last week. Keep the fire going. Don't give up now. Don't get caught up in the feelings and the thoughts of defeat. So what? You feel a little defeated, so you're just going to give up on everything now? I recall the story of the Israelites when they were on the one side of the River Jordan and they were going to cross. And, these were the children of the ones who perished in the desert for the first 40 years of wandering, right? Their parents wandered the desert for 40 years, but they were punished, and so they didn't enter the promised land. And so then their children had to go through another 40 years, right? And as right before they're going to cross the River Jordan to make it into the promised land, they go, well, it's pretty comfortable here on this side, and we have plenty of green for the cattle, and we're just fine here. Even though our mothers and fathers all died for this, we don't really care. And even though we've been traveling for all these years in the desert, we don't really care. We're going to give up. And Moses was like, what? You're going to give up? No. And he gives all the reasons why that makes no sense, obviously. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We've come so far. You have come so far. Now you feel a little defeated, and you're going to forget that defeat is also part of divine order. You're going to say every day that you trust and you know that everything is in divine order, but all of a sudden you're defeated, and so I'm done. No, you have to trust that that's also for a reason, and we're just being redirected. And if you can only stay open and remember the truth, stay flexible, stay adaptable, trust in the plan, then you will not get caught up in the despair and victimization of self. Instead, you'll go, I'm not going to be fooled by this feeling of defeat. I'm going to use it, as always, as a lesson to look a little bit more closely at what's going on, to refine my plan, my direction, and to move in the direction that nature and the universe is propelling me in. Rather than what I think or thought was best for me, I'm now seeing that it's not it. And so I'm not going to just stop there and go, that wasn't it. I'm going to go, that wasn't it, so something else is. So Shin, that's your fire. Keep it on your altar. Google it, S-H-I-N. Make it your phone background. Remember, you'll put it on your mirror that you look in when you brush your teeth and wash your face in the morning. You could put it next to your bed. And don't forget, first thing in the morning and last thing at night, best times to insert the vision that you want to manifest. Why? It all has to do with brainwave states. You are the most receptive when you're just waking up, before you even move your body, before you even open your eyes. And when you go to sleep at night and you're drifting off, that's when the magnetic hold on your body is weakened, right? That's when you feel your body being heavy and you're like, I'm about to fall asleep. Yeah, that's the time to insert the vision. 55 people watching, it's 555 right now. Confirmed. So, best times, morning, night, and throughout the day, if you can meditate or get into a space where your brain waves are reflecting that state when you're waking and going to sleep, those are times you want to insert the vision. So practice meditating. And if throughout the day you can get your mind into that frequency, drumming is good. Shamans use a drum to make their brainwaves mimic the drum so that they can insert those visions and not have to wait, for morning or night, but can do it all throughout the day. Just some tips. If you want to know more on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RebeccaMagick, I actually have a video about these brainwave states. Reach out to me, private message me if you want the video. I will send it to you. So again, put it in those places where you're going to see it in those moments. Carry it with you. And know that it is literally with you always. It's within you. It's the element of fire. The Shin represents that element of fire that's within all things. So don't give up. Trust in the redirection. And also, whenever you look at one card, 5, it was just 555, we had 55 people watching. Whenever you see one card, you always want to look at the next card so that you kind of tell your consciousness, hey, this is where we're headed, so that your energy then follows in that direction. And so the 6 of Swords is a rite of passage. It's a boat with a dude, and he's rowing the woman and the child to the other side. And it's showing us the man, the woman, and the child are different aspects of our own self. The man is the conscious aspect of ourself that's rowing, moving our subconscious and our innocence, it's represented by the child, and our essence to the other side. It's a card of transition. So in summary, it's saying, yes, we are being redirected right now. Yeah, we're feeling a little defeated, but if we could put the pieces back together, we can move on to smoother waters and move towards success. And remember, we're going through all of this just so that we can prove to self. Because remember, even those people that are holding these wands that we can't see, they're all self. There's only one here. So we're going through all of this hardship just so that we could prove to ourselves, we could show ourselves, I'm not going to give up. I'm not. And in reflection upon my strength and my willpower, I'm only deepening it each moment. Thank you for joining me in this activation portal. If you want to know more about what I've shared about the manipulations in modern tarot, if you want to know the proper Hebrew letter correlations, because they help you go way deeper with the tarot, if you want to know about the elemental suits and how they are within you, my books talk about all of it. Book number 1, The Royal Path 1, is about the major arcanum. You don't even need a deck for really either of the books, especially the first one. And for book number 2, it goes into the minor arcanum, the rest of the deck, the other 56 cards, and the elemental suits. So if you want to know more, you want to check out my book, feel free to see my video on my YouTube channel where I recorded the intro to my first book called The Storyteller's Activation. That gives you a little preview so you can see if it's something that you want to go deeper with. And then just reach out and ask me about it. I can ship it to you. It's also online. I could send you the website, but I would love to send it to you directly so that I can sign it, put a little note in there, put my little sigil in there that connects everybody who buys it around the world. And also I am available for one-on-one readings. If you just reach out and book with me, please reach out at least a week in advance. Couple weeks in advance is much better. And I do have a tarot course available online. All the classes are recorded. They're each 60 to 90 minutes long, and it's on the major arcanum, cards 0 through 22. There are a couple of bonus classes, one on the divine feminine within the tarot, one on the divine masculine within the tarot. And those will be included in the course if you get the whole course. You're also welcome to reach out and purchase just one card. If you want a class that's just on one of the cards, you're totally welcome to do that. The book is quite different than the course. The course goes deep into the occult symbolism of the tarot, whereas the books are more archetypal and connecting to those archetypes in a way where you form a bond and relationship with them. So the course and the books actually go beautifully together, or you can pick and choose what is best for you at any given time in your path. I also have 2 private groups on Facebook called Shabbat Crew, Shabbat Crew, and that's where I go live every weekend with the current Torah story and my Kabbalistic interpretation of it and how it relates to all of us. And I also go live for the Shabbat candlelighting every Friday night in that group, in our private group, and I sing the ancient melody of the candlelighting prayer. That group has been amazing to see people from all over the world, different faiths, different ages, men, women, and children, families, sharing their Shabbat journey, starting the ritual themselves and sharing videos of themselves singing the prayer. We had a super sweet family share a video of all of them singing it together. It was so awesome. It brings me so much joy. So thank you to you guys for doing that. And then the other group that we have is called The Royal Path, of course. That's our other private group where we share throughout the week in between activations, share about archetypal consciousness and awareness. So thank you to everybody who's been contributing there as well. I look forward to seeing you this weekend for the Torah story and for the candle lighting. And then next week for the first quarter to see where we're at with our process. So hang in there, you guys. Pick the pieces back up. Show yourself what you're made of. Prove to yourself that you got this, that you're not going to give up at the first feelings of defeat. That of course you should even expect those feelings of defeat because they're a part of the path. That's why it was given a tarot card. Don't give up. That's so silly. That's so silly. Remember, it's a part of the path. And remember that you're going to progress. So the sooner you accept, the sooner you'll move ahead. You got this. I know it. I look forward to hearing from you guys and seeing how this activation resonated with you. So much love. Thanks for activating with me tonight. See you soon.